Okay, well, Chad and I have been talking for a year or so about starting to do videos about Kyle's death, about the goodness of God, the drug problem here in LaPorte County, just all kinds of things. It's just taken me a while to kind of pull myself together emotionally, spiritually, to just sit down and start talking. You know, talking about Kyle, talking about the drug problem here in LaPorte, and just bearing it all, so to speak. So here I am. I did a little one 2 or 3 days ago at the cemetery with Kyle after watching another mama who's walking along Kessling Park, and she did a short video of herself walking, talking about trying to find her joy, thinking about her son who had passed away. I don't know how her son passed away. He was younger than Kyle, and she was just having a really hard day. And I thought, well, you know, maybe it's time to just start talking. It's hard to start talking about Kyle's death because, well, Kyle died of a drug overdose. And I feel like people just automatically judge him, or they automatically judge me and Chad and our family. Whether it's true or not, I know some people do because they're just small-minded, and a lot of people don't. But I feel like I'm always trying to defend Kyle now. I'm trying to defend his lifestyle. I'm trying to defend how he was. I'm still protecting him. Even in death, I am still protecting my son. So I thought I would start this video talking about the day that Kyle passed away. So on February 15th, 2020, in the parking lot of a local bar, after they closed, he sat in the parking lot in a car with a friend of his and snorted up what turned out to be almost pure fentanyl. Kyle wasn't expecting to die. Kyle was just expecting to get a buzz. And he was just out partying with his friends all night for Valentine's Day at the bar. And he made a decision to do something that, from what I understand, he doesn't normally do. I know Kyle he drank some on the weekends. I know that he smoked pot. I know that he dabbled here and there. Kyle was not a junkie. He was not an addict. He was just going out to get high, partying on February 14th. And it cost him his life. So that decision destroyed everything. It destroyed him. It destroyed me. It destroyed his family. We will never be the same after February 15th, 2020. I always say that I had a life before Kyle's death, and I have a life after Kyle's death. My life before Kyle passed away was completely different. It was just, I don't know. It wasn't as stressful. And before his death, I used to write all these really goofy stories about our dingbats living here on the farm at Addie Acres. And I was always writing these stories and doing these goofy videos and trying to promote LaPorte in a positive way, because that was always my goal. And, you know, with the pictures and the stories and the videos, and before Kyle died, I could just sit down and write really funny stories. I mean, I really could. funny stories about what the dingbats were doing that day. And after Kyle died, a lot of that just left me. I could see my llamas out there doing something stupid. They're chasing each other. They're just being weirdos. And I'll sit down and I'll try to write what they're doing and how I think they're talking back and forth to each other. And I'll sit down and I'll start it out, and it leaves. It's like nothing is really funny anymore on the farm. Once in a while I can get one out. I can, because you guys have been reading them for, I don't know, years. So I had a life before Kyle's death, and I had a life after Kyle's death. And they're completely different. I could find myself, after Kyle died, just kind of sitting and staring off into space. And I don't even know what I'm thinking about. I just know that I don't feel good mentally. I cry more. I sit at his grave probably 5 days a week, and I'll sit there for an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I pray. I worship God at his grave. Sometimes I shake my fist at the Lord, but most of the time it's just, not my will be done, God, but yours. Because there's nothing I can do. All I can do is trust him. God knows what he's doing. And I don't have answers on this side of eternity, but I have to trust Jesus. So on February 15th, 2020, Kyle slumped over the steering wheel. And within, I don't know, a minute or two after snorting that fentanyl, and the friend he was with, instead of calling 911, what she did was she pushed his body out of the driver's seat into the passenger seat, got in the driver's seat, and drove off. Did she drive him to the hospital? No. She drove him to her house, where she had to go into the house, wake up her boyfriend, who I'm sure had to get dressed, because it was 3:30 in the morning by this time, come out, and they found Kyle. According to the police report, he was wheezing. And from what I understand about fentanyl like that, it squeezes your lungs closed, and it just sucks the air right out of you. So Kyle at that point was fighting to live. He was wheezing. He was fighting for every breath. And did they call 911? No. What they did is they dragged his body through the snow up into the house, and they laid him on the floor. There was another couple there who, the guy just really doesn't like Kyle at all. And so the four of them, from what I understand, how it was told to me, just kind of stood over Kyle, arguing back and forth, yelling, because Kyle was there. And Kyle was, they didn't think he was dying, but Kyle was there laying on the floor. And one of them actually decided, well, maybe we better check on Kyle. So they checked on Kyle and found that he wasn't breathing at all. Now, I'm very thankful that the guy who did check on Kyle, who found that he wasn't breathing, automatically started to do CPR, and then they called 911. Finally. I just want to say, that night, about 3 in the morning, I woke up, and I was really restless that morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep, and I was tossing and turning, and I just didn't feel right. And I got up about 3:15 in the morning, right when Kyle snorted, and it was starting his death process. I got up and I started pacing the floors. And I don't know why I was just really uptight. I was upset, and I didn't understand what was going on, and I was just pacing the floors back and forth that morning at the time that my son was dying. Kyle's heart was stopping, and a part of mine was automatically stopping with his. I knew deep down inside that Kyle was dying, and it came out physically to where I couldn't sleep. So about 4 in the morning or so, after Kyle had passed away, and I didn't know he was dead yet, all of a sudden it's just like everything left me. All the anxiety, just everything I was feeling left. And I went back to bed and I slept peacefully. I did. And then about 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30, we get a knock on the door. And there was a strange man we'd never met before standing there, along with a young sheriff. And Chad let him in, and he handed me Kyle's driver's license, and he said, "Is this your son?" I said, "Yes, it is." I said, "Well, he passed away." So I was really good. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't fall to the floor. I sat down. I sighed. I said, "Okay, I want details. I want to know what happened." And we were able to just sit and talk with him, about everything that was going on, what he suspected. They knew it was a drug overdose, and so that was really hard. Very nice man. And when I always say that when the coroner walked out of my door, Jesus walked in a really powerful way. He did, because he knew I was going to need him. When that coroner walked out, I went straight to my CD player with my worship, and I put on my favorite worship song, and I raised my hands to the heavens, and I worshiped God, and I praised him, and I thanked him that he had my son, because Kyle had accepted Jesus as his Lord and Savior. And the last 2 months of Kyle's life, he was really trying to pull it together. He was working. They just got done stocking the Dollar General store here on Pine Lake Avenue. His goal was to become a manager there. He was doing really good. He was wearing his cross again, and I can't find that cross. Somebody has that cross, and I want it back. He was doing really good. We were having God talks again. Him and I, we were talking about the Lord. He was seeking Jesus again. He was pulling it together. And then he decided to get high. And he died. So after I got done praising and worshiping God, as soon as that coroner walked out of my house, Jesus kind of wrapped his arms around me, and he held me close, and letting me know that he was going to walk me through this, and he was going to be with me every step of the way. A promise that he has kept. He has walked through me every step of the way. And I couldn't do it without him. I can't do this without him. That week of Kyle's death, I can hardly say we had close to 1,000 people praying for us. And, I'm not exaggerating. And I could feel those prayers. I could feel God's presence. I could feel and see him working out the details of Kyle's funeral. Just the way everything worked out. with his funeral and this beautiful, gorgeous day. He got buried on February 22nd. And it was a beautiful, beautiful, sunny, warm day on February 22nd. It was just a beautiful, gorgeous day that God gave us. Anyway, I won't go into all that. But I just wanted to kind of start this video talking about how Kyle died. My son died of a drug overdose. Kyle died from fentanyl. There is a huge drug problem here in LaPorte County. I've had so many mamas get a hold of me after Kyle died, whose children have died from a drug overdose, not just fentanyl, heroin, other things, who have died here in LaPorte County. I was shocked. You know, you always know there's kind of a drug problem, but I didn't know how much of a drug problem there was here in LaPorte County until all these people started to get a hold of me. I'm so sorry, Nancy. I understand. I lost my son. I lost my daughter. I lost my son 10 years ago. I lost my daughter a couple of months ago. It was just, I was overwhelmed by how many drug overdoses there have been in LaPorte County in the last 10 years. It is overwhelming. It really is. So I'm hoping that as I keep doing these videos and keep talking about Kyle and talking about the drug problem, that it's going to bring some kind of awareness, and maybe if people see real people behind these stories. Because I remember last year being with my mom, and I opened up her paper. You know, I got her paper forward. It said, you know, the drug statistic overdose deaths in LaPorte County, and I was like, you know, my son was one of their statistics in the newspaper, and it really hit me. And if it hit me that hard, I know it hit other moms, other families, to open up their paper or go online to see these big, bold headline about the statistics of drug overdoses in LaPorte County and the problem. Yeah, we have a problem. We need somebody. We need the drug task force to just really get on it and get these dealers off our streets and help our kids who are struggling with addiction. Anyway, those are talks for another time. So I just wanted to talk about Kyle. I just wanted to talk about his death a little bit, and how he died, and where he died, and how it's been affecting me. I can never express in words how it's affected me, and how it's been affecting me, and how it will always affect me. So if you see a little blue Renegade Jeep in Pine Lake Cemetery, that's me. I do a lot of my praying. I do a lot of my worshiping God. I do a lot of my writing, because I write a lot, you know, about Kyle and the goodness of God, and I write a lot. And that's where I do it all. I do it there at the cemetery. It's peaceful. It's quiet. I'm with my son. I'm with Jesus. And I'm just able to just kind of write it out. So here it is. We'll see where God takes us. We'll see how he, if he explodes it, so to speak. But it's got to be for his glory, because it's all about him. It's all about his goodness and his faithfulness. Kyle died, but it's all about God's goodness. So here we are. We're almost 20 minutes. Sorry, I know it's kind of long. And I'll do another one soon. Okay. TTFN. Bye, guys.